I'm here.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the team call for the July 27th. Can you believe it's the end of July already? It's absolutely crazy to me. When I posted about this team call, I was kind of curious. I didn't really have a thing to talk about. I thought about talking about what we learned at Summit, which I'll save for another call, from Shalene, which was curiosity marketing. But I had a lot of people say that they were looking for motivation or had to finish the month really strong because there's 3 days left in the month. So I was going to give you guys some tips on creating momentum for the end of the month and share some of the scripts that I have for following up and even just inviting to kind of, change your mindset a little bit. So if at any time during this call, when I'm sharing my screen, if something doesn't work, you can't hear me, somebody speak up. I'm actually going to vote Casey. If you're going to be here for the whole call, will you shout out, do anything to let me know if something isn't working? And don't be quiet because I won't be able to see the chat, see the thing. Gosh. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Is that fine, Casey?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Oh, wait. So what I want to do, I want to present. There's present. Okay. How to create momentum at the end of the month to hit your goal. So most of us who are here, our goal usually is to hit Success Club, whether that be Success Club 6, Success Club 10, helping 2 to 5 people every single month. And I know we focus on the numbers, so I hope when you're hearing me tonight, you're realizing that I'm not just here to focus on numbers, but to help you kind of create some momentum in your business, because it's never too late to gain momentum in your business, to start the month, finish the month strong and start the next month off to a good start. Because I find when I have a really big push of momentum in my business, if it's the last 5 days of the month, it usually spills over into the next month. So that's kind of the awesome thing about doing a big push. Now, I don't say, hey, only push one time of the month. It's very important that you're having conversations, you're doing the vital behaviors every single day. But I'm going to be talking specifically about how to create momentum at the end of the month to hit your goal, whatever your goal might be. So if you're sitting like Courtney at Success Club 0 and it's the 27th, I don't want you to have that mindset where you're like, okay, well, I'll just do it next month, because it's never too late to start to work to push for your goal, whatever that goal might be. And I'm going to tell you, I haven't hit Success Club yet either. I'm at Success Club 4. I have a girl who says she's going to order tomorrow. She's told me that for a week. Makes me nervous because, you can never count your people's orders until the orders go through. So she told me she was going to order last week. So does that mean last week I was like, perfect, my goal is going to be set? No, I had to keep working. And I think that's one of the things that happens in this business is we're like, okay, well, this person said they're going to order, this person says they're going to order, and so does this person. So you kind of coast a little bit and wait for them to order. But then what does that happen? How many of us have we sent the email through the Coach Mobile thing and they start it and then they stop? I think that's the most frustrating thing in this business, because you can see when they've started an order and then you're like, wait, what happened? And you don't want to be that person that's bugging them constantly, but you're like, wait, you said yes. What happened? Did you change your mind? And some of those people will reach out to you and let you know what happened. And then some of them, they'll reach out to see where they're at and they'll fall off the face of the earth, because I think that happens to all of us. So if it's happened to you, you are not alone. So I have a few steps. I think I have five steps to get you to create momentum at the end of the month. So the first step to have success, to meet your goal at the end of the month, is you have to believe. I think many of us I hear this all the time from coaches, and it's my biggest pet peeve. Well, I'm just going to try to hit Success Club. I'm just going to try. I'll see what happens. It's kind of the end of the month. We'll just see if it works. I'm just going to try. Oh, it's the most frustrating mindset in the whole entire world. You can't try to do it. When you try, I feel like you're like, well, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, oh well. You cannot have that mindset, because you've already kind of put in some disbelief into what you're saying, because you're almost giving yourself an out. Oh, there's only 3 days left. It probably won't happen. That's okay. I can hit it next month. No, that's just not how to run your business. Your mindset is everything. You have to go into the end of the month that you will hit your goal no matter what. If you go into that mindset that you're defeated, it's just not going to happen, you will be defeated. Your mindset is literally half of the battle of showing up at anytime in this business, but especially at the end of the month when you're really pushing for a goal. So this month, like I said, I have not hit Success Club myself yet. And if I hit it, it will be my 36th month in Success Club. And I have never been that coach when I see the 0 at the beginning of the following month. I'm like, oh, great. Yay. I can't wait to start all over. I'm just like every other coach. And I think I heard Danielle Natoni say it recently. Maybe it was at Summit. I don't remember when she said it, but she said at the end of every month, when she starts a new month and she sees that 0, she still has that little bit of disbelief in her mind. Oh, am I going to be able to do it again this month? Because we all feel that, right? That, is it going to happen? I don't know. But you cannot stay there very long. So if you're sitting at a 0 today, or if you're sitting at 15 and your goal is 20, there's still time in the next 3 days to create some good momentum. But first step, you have to believe that you can do it. So everybody write that down. I can do it, or I will do it. Write your Success Club goal down somewhere and look at it. So step 2, gosh, you have to hustle. And I think a lot of times people get to the end of the month and they have that disbelief that it's not going to happen. And they just do their regular output of talking to, just 3 to 5 people a day. And they just see what will happen. But if you really have a big goal, you have to absolutely positively change the output that you have going for your invites, for your conversations, for everything. You have to grow it exponentially. You have to hustle, hustle, hustle. Now is not the time to just do a little bit. Now is the time to invite like it's your job. And you know what? That's right. That's one of the biggest parts of our job, is to invite and is to have those personal conversations. And I feel like for me, I have most success in personal conversations to get people to join challenge groups than a big, huge Facebook call to action post. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do those. Those are definitely something that is worth doing. And I think if you have some really good results, doing a good transformation post right about this time, maybe tomorrow morning, will be a good thing to start the conversations for over the weekend, because it will get people's interest. And so if you post a transformation post or something in the morning, a call to action about a challenge group that you have starting, people who like or comment on it, you'd be able to start those conversations tomorrow and, have those conversations going over the next couple of days. Because, sometimes it takes, a couple of days to get those conversations going. That's why it builds some good momentum. If you get them started now, you'll probably be able to hit Success Club at the end of July. And then some of those conversations will spill over into August. So for me personally, I'm running a challenge group event right now. My challenge group is starting on August 7th. So all the people that I'm trying to do right now will go into that challenge group. And then if I get the first part of August, they'll go into that challenge group too. So I can do 2 months worth of goals with one challenge group. That's personally what I'm doing right now. And then with Team Cup for August, if you're not on a Team Cup team, total plug, you should be on one. I'm going to run another challenge group at the end of August. So hustle, hustle, hustle. So here, I don't know if you want to take a screenshot, you're welcome to. This is one of the scripts that I use for people who I have invited to a challenge group event. I feel once I've invited somebody to a challenge group event, usually they're only people who I've had a conversation with already. I don't just invite people I've never had one conversation with. And if we have time, I can go over what I shared with my team earlier this week, what I send to my friends when they're new friends. So I never invite anybody to a challenge group event without sending them at least one invite or sending them one conversation starter message beforehand. But this is just a simple message that I use to invite people. You're welcome to screenshot it, kind of change it up into your own words, make it your own voice. But I always include the link to my challenge group event, even though they're already invited. That way they can directly from the message go look at the event. I try and keep it short. This one is a little bit long, but like I said, I send it to people who I've already had conversations with before, or I've noticed a need in them, or if it's somebody who has been liking my post recently. And I usually get some pretty good feedback from this script. So that's what I do. And if you guys happen to, at the end, if I have time, if you have a good invite that you use, you're welcome to share it, because I think a lot of times we all have to change up what we're saying to people, and it's good to have practice, and it's good to get other people's ideas, because you can't just take what I'm saying. You have to kind of make it your own. But the more we help each other with what we're saying, the better we're able to help a lot of people, because that's what we're here for, to help a lot of people. I use this description with my team all the time, and it especially fits at the end of the month because I think a lot of times people get frustrated because they're talking to people and people are being ignored. They're not responding to your messages. I mean, I've had people unfriend me and block me. And so I like to use this analogy is if you were in a room full of 100 people and 3 of them needed your help like their life depended on it, would you talk to 97 people to find the 3 that needed your help? So if you're in a room with these 100 people and 3 people, like life or death, would you not go up to every single person to find those 3 people? I know I would. If it's like life or death, I'm going to talk to everybody, even if I walk up to that person and they're like, nope, not me, nope. Well, what do you do in that situation? Do you dwell on that one person that's the wrong person? No, you cannot dwell on the people that say, no, it's not me. You have to just go, okay, next, because the 3 people that are there that need your help, they're out there, and there are 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, 10 people, however many people you have to get to that desperately need your help right now. So you have to go with the mindset of, I've got to find the right people, and you're weeding through all the wrong people to find those right people. Going for that no, because it's in those no's that you find the yeses, and it's in those no's. You just can't take those no's personally because they're not your people. Because remember, think of that ratio, 100 people, you're looking for 3. So 97 people tell you no, you just let that roll off your back because you're looking for those 3. And I think sometimes you start to talk to people and you get 10 people who ignore you and you're like, oh, this just doesn't work. I'm doing something wrong. I don't think this business is for me. I mean, how many of you have thought that? Must not be good at this. So then you stop doing the actions that get you to where you need to go to move your business forward. So you just have to keep talking to people. And I think some people are surprised. You might see like Danielle Hogel on our team, our big team. She's getting Success Club 1 million, it feels like right now. And I'm sure each one of us have looked at her numbers and have been like, oh, it must just be easy for her. No, I know her personally, and I know people aren't just flocking to her and beating down her door. I know that she's hustling and beating down the door to find people to work with her. And that means she's having a lot of conversations. Okay. Step 3, follow up. The fortune is in the follow-up. Following up is so key. I think I read a statistic today that said it takes most people 5 contacts from you before they'll say yes. And I mean, I've had people who I've had to follow up with for like a year before they've said yes. So you need to make sure you follow up at the end of the month. Now is the perfect time to go back through those people who last month before, 6 months ago, didn't have the money, didn't have this, that wasn't the right time, they were going on vacation. Hopefully you have some sort of good tracking system that you can go back through and follow up with those people who were interested at one point, but this timing wasn't right. So I'm going to share with you, I think I have 2 different scripts for following up with people. The first one is for someone who maybe had said not right now. And I think I got this script from a coach on my team named Kristen. And she's just like, hey girl, I hope your week has been amazing. I'm setting up the details for my next health and fitness group. And I was thinking about you. I know you've been super busy, but I just want to check in to see if this was something you're still interested in, or do you want me to take you off my contact list? Totally no worries either way. I just don't want to pester you if you're not really interested. Talk to you soon. So that really puts the ball in their court that you're wanting to help them, that they had been interested, but let me know either way. I always tell people that, hey, let me know either way, yes or no, because the last thing I want to do is pester you. And then I got this second message for somebody who's like stopped responding to your messages. I don't even, maybe off of a national wake-up call or some push group I had been in years ago. And it says, you know, these are for those people that had been interested and you sent them a few messages and then they just stopped responding, and you can see that they're reading your messages. So the person who gave me this particular follow-up script had said, hey, this is a trigger that just says, hey, it looks like now isn't the right time for you to join my group. I'm going to remove you from my follow-up list. If in the future you'd like to have me help you with your goals or you'd like to join one of my groups, I'd love to help you. You'd be an amazing addition to my groups. What this does to some people is they hear that you're not going to follow up anymore and they're like, wait, no, don't take me off your list. But then some people won't respond at all and you'll just realize, okay, that's one of those people that I need to move on from. But you need to send these messages and don't feel like you're annoying people, because in each of these ones, you're saying, hey, no pressure. I'm just, I'm here either way. Just let me know. But I think when sometimes people hear that they're going to be removed from their follow-up list, some people are like, perfect. I'll let you know if I need your help. And some people are like, wait, no, please don't remove me. And maybe next month or something else, or this is the right month. But I love it when somebody's like, yeah, I'll reach out to you when I'm ready, because I don't want to keep following up with people who have lost interest, because it just wastes my time and theirs. So those are some 2 examples for a follow-up script. Change it up, change the wording, make it sound like you, because my voice isn't your voice, but something to try over the next few days. This is another important step. Ask for referrals. So if you've been running some Rockin' Challenge groups and you have some good customers, now's the time that you can go to those customers and be like, hey, Sally, you've been rocking it in my challenge group, and I know maybe they didn't want to be a coach for whatever reason. You could be like, hey, I know you're doing really good in my challenge group. Do you have any friends that could benefit from this too? I'd love to, help some people that you're working for. And usually if it's somebody who's worked with me for a while, they really trust me. And I'll be like, hey, I offer an incentive to anybody who refers somebody to me who orders. So if you do have somebody, I do have a gift for you. And usually I'll send out like a $10 gift card or $5 gift card to like Starbucks, have a cup of coffee on me. But referrals are really important. I think sometimes we're gun shy to ask for them, but why wouldn't you? Because if you're offering great service to your clients and you're taking really good care of them in your challenge groups, it's completely okay to ask for a referral, because happy clients are more than willing to help you. And I loved this quote by Mark Zuckerberg: "Nothing influences people more than a recommendation from a trusted friend." So, we all trust our friends' opinions on restaurants we go to, products that we buy, things that we, use in our homes. So it's completely okay to ask, hey, you've rocked it. You loved Shakeology. Do you have anybody else you think could benefit from what I'm doing also? Okay. Oh, I guess that's my last step. I guess I only had 4 steps. Does anybody else have any tips? I couldn't read the comments. Does anybody else have a good invite script or follow-up script that they're using, or any other tip that they personally do at the end of the month to help create momentum in your business? Anybody?
I don't have any specific tips, but I have a good script that usually gets a lot of, I can post it. I don't have it like at the top of my head, but it says something like, hey, I know you might have your health and fitness down already. I know we chatted in the past, but blah, blah, blah. I can post it, but it's usually one that gives me, like the most response. But as far as like the last 2 months have gone, literally it's been pulling teeth. And I was telling my team today that I am sending for every 20 messages I'm sending, and it's like not even like invites, it's like messages, I'm getting probably 1 response. And I don't know if it's like because people are out of town or it's just summer or like whatever, but that's how much it takes. And so I'm messaging more people. That's just like how hard it is and how much it takes to like get 6 Success Club points. So you just have to message more people, and you have to find out ways to expand your network. And there's, ways to do it, but you have to start talking to more people, because we're talking like 100 in a room, 3 people might say yes. So are you messaging?
I don't use that statistic lightly, because sometimes it takes 100 people to find 3. Sometimes it's 200 people to find 3. And so many people talk to 10 and they hear no and they stop. And I think what you realize, the difference between the coaches who are hitting Success Club every month and those who are not quite making it, is simply the output of conversations that we're having. It's a true story. And especially if you've been a coach for a couple years, like many of you have been coaches for quite some time, your market is probably really cold. So you have to spend a good amount of time that you're doing when you're doing your power hour and working your business is really, really making new friends, but not just adding people to your friends list willy-nilly. You need to add people who are your people, and then you have got to start those conversations with them. So I don't know what tracking system y'all guys use. I use Teamzy. I add people and I add new contacts to my Teamzy, and I make them a 5 rating instantly when I add them so that they're at the top of my prospect list. And I only have new people at the top of my prospect list as a 5. And I try to send out 5 to 10 messages a day just for my new friends. My dad's listening to me. And try and start those conversations. But like Casey said, of those 5 to 10 that you might send, 1 might respond. But here's the thing. You send that message and the Facebook algorithm is that the chances of them not seeing your stuff in their newsfeed because you've sent them a message, even if they haven't written back, goes up. So you're more on their radar. That's why it's really important to try and send those messages to your new friends pretty quickly. I try to do it within like 1 to 2 weeks. Some days I'm behind, some days I'm not. But it's really important to have those. You need to, and I shared on my team that I have a good script that works for me that I wrote that just kind of introduces myself to my new friends, because that's kind of awkward. You're adding these people that are basically strangers and you don't want to just be like, hey girl, thanks for the accept, can't wait to get to know you, because that's not personal. But then you don't want to make a message that's too long that people read it and go, okay, she's after something. So you really have to work on what you're sending people, but you have to be connecting with those new people all the time. So thank you for that, Casey. But and I also think that summertime can be really slow. Summertime, back to school time, people are on vacation. People are getting ready for back to school, so their budgets are, it's just not quite in their minds. I just think it's a really interesting time for the business.
I think too, on the National Wake Up Call Monday, I can't remember who it was or whatever, but
Lindsay,
she said,
wasn't her name Lindsay?
Yeah. And she said, if I'm not making my numbers, or like she's making hers, but if she's not making numbers or she feels behind or whatever, she runs like another free group. And so I'm thinking about like for Team Cup in August to just run 2 free groups, just because that's just more people to talk to and like kind of hitting 2 different like markets sort of. So I think I might do that for August, even though it's more work, but on months that are slow, it's like you just have to increase your output.
Very
it's
good.
Simple.
It's very simple. Does anybody else have anything that works for them at the end of the month for momentum that they're willing to share with the rest of us?
I have a script that I get a lot of responses from. It'll convert most of the time, some of the time, but it generates the most responses. So I actually copied it. I can just paste it here in the chat bar.
Okay. Can you post it later when we get off of here in the the photo that I posted in the team page that said, can you post it there so that, because I think that when people do the recording, I don't know if they see the chat box.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll
Bye, Melanie. Good night. I know it's late where you're at. No worries. Thanks for hopping on, Melanie.
But I actually can I request a tip? Can I do that?
Of course.
Okay, cool. So I've been sending a ton of messages every day because I know that, sorry, my daughter's singing in the background.
No worries.
But I've got like, maybe I'll roughly hit about 15 to 20 hey girl messages, just the hey girls, not necessarily invites, but just starting them so that I can get the momentum of conversations coming in and going out. But I'm finding it hard to even get responses from just, hey, I saw your XYZ on your page or your trip or your concert or whatever. And it's like, it almost feels as if they think I have an agenda behind it. And I literally have mentioned nothing before. It's just hey, I saw your pictures of that Metallica concert. It's cool, And
right. Well, and I think that a lot of people have their guard up right now just because there's so many people doing businesses on Facebook, and they just feel like I think people just naturally have their guard up, like, hey, don't try and sell me. I'm not here to be sold. So I think you just have to, first of all, when you add new people, this is a tip that kind of, I don't know if it portrays to you. I think a lot of times people are like, hi, I'm Casey Rooney. And on your Facebook description, you have that you're a Beachbody coach. People see that, for one, they're probably not going to accept your friendship request. Or if they go to check you out and they see that, they're going to instantly put up a wall. So make sure you have that. It kind of goes for that curiosity marketing that was talked about at Summit. You need to make it seem like I had a girl on Instagram just recently, she was like, I don't know what you do, but I want to be a part of it. But she had no idea that I worked with Beachbody. She didn't know anything, but she was intrigued and curious. So I think we have to try and do that also on Facebook. But I feel like for me, I'm not very good at just hey girl messages where I like talk about specific stuff. What usually happens is I send somebody a message when they first become my friend, and then I just naturally see who starts to interact with my posts. And those are the people that I work with because they already are digging what I'm posting. And I feel like once Facebook got rid of interest lists, I used to love interest lists because I would put like new friends on my interest list so I could really hone in on what they were doing. I feel like I'm missing like half of my friends in my newsfeed. So I'm thinking if it's hard to see stuff all the time, I don't know. So I guess I didn't really answer your question very well. Other than you just have to just keep having those conversations. Just keep them short, maybe short, brief things.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I feel like I get more of a response back when it's just a, hey, it's been a bit, how have you been? You know, and they're like, oh, I've been doing this and this and this. And they'll go on forever, right? Which is great because that's exactly what I'm wanting is, a response because I can go off of that. But it's really like a lot of Facebook now is just like a bunch of share this video and that video and this meme and that meme. And I can't go off of anybody's newsfeed anymore. It's like things are changing so much. So like the curiosity marketing, I mean, I know we were going to do a call about this before, but I think it would be a perfect call because things are just different now and we've got to kind of switch things up.
Well, I can put that on the list for next week. But I also think in times like this, as things change, I also think this doesn't necessarily help with momentum for the next 3 days. But I also think it's important that you have your main social media that you're using, but you're also dabbling somewhere else. So I have Facebook is my jam, but I have my feet in Instagram too. And you have to try and be in both places. Don't spend a lot of time trying to be everywhere, but make sure you have somewhere else that you're kind of learning, exploring, and seeing what works. Because sometimes I have a post that totally rocks on Instagram that doesn't do well on Facebook and vice versa. And I try and change them up a little bit.
Instagram stories is like a huge thing. I get more views on that than I do my Facebook stories.
Yeah, I think Facebook stories is almost a waste of time in my personal opinion. I'd love to know what Shalene says about that. I think Instagram stories is where it's at right now. I wish they made it like Snapchat because I feel like because you can slide through some people that you don't want to see. Or I think Snapchat I saw Shalene was like Snapchat you have to like click through everybody's full story, where Instagram stories you can be like, oh, I don't want to see this, and keep going through. But anybody else have any tips, Anastasia?
All right, I had to write this down because it was so long ago. I knew I was going to forget, but
Sorry.
I was ready. No, it's okay. So about the hustle at the end of the month, I obviously, I mean, everybody's been in that point where you're at the end of the month and you need Success Club.
Keep talking.
Yeah, what has worked for me really, really well is everybody's got those people you talked to before that are like, oh, I'm not ready, or, not right now, I've got this going on, or maybe after we get back from vacation, maybe you didn't follow up, or maybe they just fell off the face of the planet, who knows. But what I do at the end of the month, and it's actually what I'm going to be doing right now because I'm only at Success Club 4 as well, but I'm not going to be by Sunday, is I go back and I reach out to those people, and I will even specifically say, hey, I know we've talked about doing this before. I know you've said you wanted to join me. I've got this great group starting. I got this great opportunity for you to join. And I am trying to hit a goal right now, and you'd really be helping me out. And people are like bleeding hearts. They want to help other people. They really do. And I find that a lot of times when I ask people that were like never even probably going to write me back ever and say, hey, I'm ready now, but I reached out and said, hey, you'd be helping me and I'm going to help you. Then they're like, all right, let's do it. And I've hit Success Club many of months in the midnight hour using that method.
That's great. I've actually used that method before. And sometimes you can offer an incentive also. I try not to do incentives all the time. It's like a last ditch thing. If somebody's kind of on the fence and we're having that conversation and it's getting close, I'll be like, hey, well, I am offering a small incentive this month if you do it, right now. There's many things, but I feel like you don't want to get in the habit of always giving incentives because you're just giving away your commission, and we're in this, as businesses, but it's certainly something that you could easily do. But you have to remember that what we're doing is valuable and people are going to get something great for it. So don't Don't just shortchange yourself just because you're desperate. And I think sometimes that's the mistake that coaches make at the end of the month is people can feel your desperation because you're trying so hard and they just naturally put up that wall. So you still have to have that attitude of that belief of it's going to happen. My people are out there. Don't panic, because people can feel it and they're like, she's obviously desperate. Yes, Courtney?
I'm sorry. I don't know if anybody else has questions, but I'm just going to take them while I can. So the thing came up and was like 10 minutes. I was like, okay. Anyway, my question is kind of like a this or that question. So when you're like me and you're sitting at 0 and you've been talking to, person after person after person after person all month, right? And when it's like the last 2 to 3 days, do you lean more towards the people you've already been talking to, or do you do more like new conversations? Like where do you think you lean toward that helps you get to that goal? So like the people I've already been talking to this month, if I want to hit Success Club in the next, 3 days, 2 days, 3 days, 3 days, then I lean more towards my people I've already been talking to? Or do you feel like it takes more time to, how am I wording this?
I get what you're saying, but I think what you're saying, I get what you're saying, and I can let somebody else answer, but I think it's important to do both. You need to work with the people you're having conversations with, but don't just rely on those people. Start new conversations too.
Okay.
Because you'll get focused on these people who, if it takes them 30 days to have this conversation with you to say yes, they might not ever say yes, and then you'll find people. I mean, I'll get people sometimes that they'll say yes in an hour, and they're just like ready to go. So you have to just have your lots of, I don't even know how to, I'm trying to come up with a metaphor, but you need to kind of have lots everywhere. You have to have conversations that are new, follow-ups all over. That's why it's important that you're doing Hey Girl messages, invites, follow-ups, all that kind of stuff every single day. Anybody else?
Put all your eggs in one basket. That's what it's called.
Yeah, right. So with your invite earlier, I screenshotted it. But if you're speaking to someone that you haven't talked about it before, then you could just kind of reword it to say, like, instead of it saying, I know we talked about this in the past, because if you're first inviting somebody, then you would switch it up and say, I wanted to kind of extend this invite to you kind of thing.
Well, and I always kind of play it off with my invites, because I feel like when I've invited somebody to a challenge group event, like that's kind of the first casual invite, and they have the option to decline right there. So it's kind of like a soft invite. And then my next invite, I usually just say, hey, I've invited you. I know you get invited to like 1 million events. I just wanted to let you know what this one is about, because nothing bothers me more than when I get invited to a bunch of stuff that I know nothing about, and I just think it's rude. So I think it just gives them the option to say, hey, this is what I have. If you're into it, cool. If you're not, no worries either. And I think you just have to be really casual. And I really am a no pressure coach. And I think it comes off to people that I'm not a pressure, because I don't like to feel pressured. So I don't ever want to come across pushy and pressury. Right. Anybody else have any tips or things they want to talk about in our last couple minutes? I have to say, Diana, you look beautiful today. Hi, Casey. What do you have to say? Nothing?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like raising your hand.
Oh, no. I'm just chilling.
Just chilling.
I do have something to a quick question. So I have, I want to say like 10 people right now that are like, yes, we're doing this. One has started her application. Of course, my kids haven't talked.
Don't worry. I was about to say, just keep talking. It doesn't bother me.
And they're just like sitting on it, and they've stopped, looking at my messages. They just like won't even open them. I'm like, I know you're on your phone. I know you. So that's why I was like, I need motivation, because part of me, like, I would never give up on this business. I love helping people. I love what I've seen people do by working out and following the programs. But sometimes I'm just like, come on, people. Like, you need this. Like, you have no idea how much you need this. So
I definitely think it's important when you do send somebody an enrollment that you ask. It's okay to ask, hey, when are you going to complete this? Or I need you to complete this by Friday to be in my group, so that they have a date. And then you say, are you okay with that? That way that way when you follow up Friday or Saturday morning, you're like, hey girl, I needed you to follow up with on Friday, or on Friday you're like, hey, are you going to still do this? Today's the day. They've already said, yeah, okay. And when you follow up, you'd be like, hey, this is just a reminder. Today's the day. Are you cool? And they'll either ignore you, or they'll be like, yeah, totally. Thanks for the reminder. Or sometimes when somebody hasn't, because they don't know that you haven't seen their enrollment. If somebody started it, I'll be like, hey girl, I don't know if you just missed the email that I sent. Would you like me to send it to you again so you can get started on your enrollment?
Okay.
Start the conversation going again. Or sometimes I just send it again anyways, just as that annoying, like I don't even tell them, like, well, here's the enrollment again.
Okay.
I actually have a tip on that, Diana, that's worked for me in the past. Like I've done it 4 times in the past, and each time it converted to a challenge pack. So after they say yes, I ask for their phone number and I say, hey, I can keep track of you better through text. Can you text me? And it's not like I'm not calling them, so they're not getting some scam call. And then people that are on Facebook, like Ashley said, there's so many people selling on Facebook nowadays that a lot of people will just ignore their inbox because people are constantly inviting them to stuff. So if you transfer it over to phone and just say, hey, I can text you and help walk you through it. They're like, okay, cool. And then instead of sending them the link through Facebook, because Facebook doesn't even like that anyway, then put the link in your text message and you can better keep track of it that way. And when they see their text message going off, they'll know it's you and not some consultant from whoever trying to sell them something else.
That's a great tip.
So each time, I've done that 4 times, and each time converted to a challenge pack sale, and 2 of them became coaches. So each time it worked. So as soon as they say, yes, I'm ready, I say, okay, it actually works better for me on text. Can I send you the link there?
Well, and then you can also personalize it. Hey, we're about to work together and I'm in this with you. So I want to be able to be in contact with you because I'm your coach. Like, we're here in this together, and it makes it more personal. But we're about to run out of time, so I'm going to run. But thank you guys for showing up tonight, and keep going. If you're at Success Club 0, Courtney, I'm going to see your name under at least Success Club 6 at the end of the month. I believe in you. Sometimes you just need somebody to believe in you, and I believe in you. You're going to do it. All of you. We're going to rock it. Bye, friends.